Pounds the runner, gets it to go. Hart rips down another rebound, looks to push. Hart goes right at the rookie and bangs it home. Timeout San Antonio. Knicks with a mini answer, and they cut it to 7. And some pushing and shoving after the play. Here's Fox. Shamet trying to fight over a screen, and Fox drills the floater, his first field goal. And the lead is up to 11, largest here in the first quarter. What a response from San Antonio after that crushing loss in game 2. Brunson sneaks inside once again, banks it home.
He's not hitting as consistently as he has all season.
Shamet tries to fight through another screen, and Harper throws it down. Dylan Harper once again off the bench.
Doesn't matter home or away, that they will settle into a series. You see the rookie Harper, he doesn't care.
Let's see. Hold on. Yo. Why is this shit like this? Hold on. Let me see. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Salute. Peace and vibes, as always. Where we at? Tuesday, June 9th, 8:48 p.m. on the East Coast. Shout out to everybody watching us. I appreciate you wherever you are. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And always remember to click the notification button, because they definitely don't be letting nobody know when I post videos or when I do lives or whatever. You know what I mean? So hope everybody's having a good week. Salute to the community. Salute to all the supporters. Thank you as always. Appreciate you through the ups and downs, the wins, the losses, the waves, as we love to call them, right? And we all know what we're here to discuss. What's going on right now, mainstream media all across the world. The world is frozen right now. The world is frozen front and center, and everything that's being talked about is being spoken about. New York City, right? New York Knicks, New York culture, San Antonio Spurs, NBA Finals, blah. Little violent, right? But New York right now is in the middle of the universe, in the middle of the world. Everything's being focused on the city. So shout out to the whole sports world for paying attention, for being tuned in, so on and so whatever. But what I wanted to talk about here, right? The name of the video, we have the rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals. And obviously in the video, it's the big quote on the video is this happening again? So my intention with this video is to mainly speak about, highlight, discuss, kind of to bring to the forefront just potential possibilities, observations, things that just really, really stand out with what's going on in the landscape of the NBA. Because as we all know, the mainstream loves to pump certain narratives, certain propaganda. They love to push the public betters a certain way, opposite of the right way. They love to put landmines in front of us. They love to trick us. They love to try to fool us and, put us under their spell, right? Now, I said this before game 3. I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine who's actually he's going to be pulling up soon to speak about it. But, everything in preparation for game 3 of the NBA Finals was, to me, in large part, a detriment to New York City and the New York Knicks fans. And I'll explain to you why. Now, because me, myself, I'm not a Freemason, right? I don't practice witchcraft. I don't operate in the dark realm. I don't understand Freemasonry to the point of, executing it, practicing it, and using it. Sometimes you find yourself, your perspective is skewed. And what I mean is skewed, it's like, because I'm not a Freemason, I don't operate the way that a Freemason would. And to clarify that even more, some people, when you mention the word witchcraft or like spells or like, energies and vibes and stuff like that, people just get like turned off. They're like, oh, this is like some hocus pocus, blah, blah stuff. This stuff is not real. This stuff is fake, it's foo-foo, so on and so forth. But leading into game 3, the biggest observation I had before that game was even played is that right then and there on the surface, you saw kind of like the energy and the vibe of a city, right? One of the central points of the United States of America, arguably one of the biggest cities in the world. You saw the energy kind of getting sucked out of the room, so to speak. I'm talking about the surrounding areas of New York City, Manhattan, mainly, and everything being focused on MSG, Madison Square Garden, right? So instead of having all the energy outside of the game, where that's the way it's been for game one, game two, you had everything so focused in on that one building. So when you know that, you can realize, okay, this is potentially, one of like their energy harvesting rituals that they love to do, right? They love to put everybody in the building. Everybody's focus and attention is aligned on one thing, and then they just pop the balloon, right? They take the air out of the building, right? So that was one huge thing that was a big observation of mine going into Game 3, and then obviously you had everything on the surface with Donald Trump, Mayor Mamdani, everything going into Game 3. Okay, boom, that was going to be an L, right? Especially with the Knicks taking the first two road games. Now, first three games of the NBA Finals have been played, and every road team has won that game. All right. Now, what that led me to was, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we just started plugging a bunch of things together. And shout out to him, my boy Dre, who's about to come on. He was kind of the one that's initiated this conversation, and then we just built off of that, which normally is the way it happens, right? You get on the phone or you get on a call or whatever. You guys are exchanging ideas, observations, and then it just leads to a whole bunch of other stuff that finds a way to connect. And then it's like, okay, is this like a real thing? Is this a real possibility? Can this really happen? So the point of today's video, right? We all have our NBA Finals predictions, what game we think it's gonna end in, what team we think is gonna win. Those things are all done prior to the playoffs, especially in my case. So picking a winner at this point between two teams when the game's already underway isn't really it's not really a difficult feat. But the main point of it is to like put some storylines together, put the pieces to the puzzle together, observe possibilities that can happen, and still try to attack, beneficial plus money lines, situations where we could, 4, 5, 6x potentially, or even call the remaining games of the series still correct, right? So anyway, we got on the phone. We were talking about a bunch of different things, and to be honest, me and him, I wasn't really in tune with what was going on YouTube, but me and him, we were really the only two people that I saw that got the NBA Cup correct. And what I mean by that, and the irony behind that was like, I had the Knicks going to the NBA Cup Finals, and he had the Spurs. So even though we both had two different teams, we ended up getting it correct because both of our teams met in the NBA Cup, which was the most ironic thing and funny thing. And immediately after that game, I remember us probably speaking the next day, and we were like, "Yo, how crazy would it be if these two teams were in the NBA Finals?" Because we had already started examining things, and we were like, "Yo, that would be so fucking funny if it happened like that," and it just so happened that it did. So, let's get into it. I'm bring my boy up right now. Start the stream off and see what's goody. Dreski, what's good, boy?
Yo, what's good? You can hear me?
Yeah, you loud and clear, brody.
Okay, good.
All right, let me see this. Hold on. All right, yeah, StreamYard just got a bunch of different. Okay, here we go. All right, boom. All right, so look, I was explaining to everybody, right? For those of you that don't know, it's my boy Dre right here. He been on the show a couple different times, right? He been doing the the sports thing, the geometry thing for a while now, and we always, a lot of times we speak and we collaborate, but not really that often. We kind of like really just speak about ideas. But it's funny though because most of the time our ideas don't align. And what I mean by that is like I'll have a team and he'll have a separate team, But it's just funny that most of the time those two teams end up playing each other, and we're never on the same team.
Yeah.
Get there, you know what I mean? So that's like the funny part about it. But it's awesome because it just shows you as like different perspective can always be valuable as well. And when you're kind of operating independently, but at the same time talking every now and then, your ideas aren't that identical, but you can still identify things that make sense and make money for the both of you. You know what I mean? So it's awesome how that can happen. But getting into this video and why we're on here today, Brody. I mean, we got on the call. You called me up. You was like, "Yo, bro, like I'm just seeing some stuff," and I'm like, I'm listening to him, and it just brings me back. 1999. I was here. Thank God I was around for the 90s and stuff like that. I was born in the late 80s, so I
Yeah.
was around when this stuff was going down.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah. I'm saying here for
yeah,
real.
this is like fresh in the mind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy the things you could identify once you take a step back. You're not really like in the moment. You separate yourself. And I was like, yo, we got to talk about it. You know what I mean? So the first thing I'll kind of open it up with is I was explaining to you, and you were telling me also, it's like, we both kind of agreed that Donald Trump going to the game wasn't a good thing for the Knicks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people on the surface, they're like, yo, the president is coming. He never goes to NBA games.
Mm-hmm.
And what I specifically told you, I was like, yo, the heavy money's coming on the Knicks just because
Yeah.
Trump is going to be there. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what we saw. People just jumping on the mainstream propaganda, like, oh, the Knicks 1-2 on the road.
Yeah.
They're in NYC with the mayor, with the Trumpski and all that. And it went the exact opposite, the way we thought it was probably going to go. Spurs
Yep.
taking it to 2-1, taking all the air out of the building. The first question I would ask you is like, do you believe, or not believe, but do you support the idea of like that some of these things that are going on is actually like energy harvesting?
For sure. Um, it's crazy. Like before, like even when you put me on and you showed me the ropes with how the whole gematria and the numbers, how it works. I was never really like in tune with like the energy thing. I always thought that was like just something that you could control. It was like individualistic. But as time went on, yeah, I started to realize, yeah, the energy is real. Like the energy harvesting, especially with these sports events and how they can manipulate people's minds, is definitely a real thing for sure.
And we've seen, and the thing about it is like sometimes because you know let's just say your favorite sport might be basketball, and you pay a little bit more attention to that and less attention to football or hockey or anything like that.
Yeah,
For me, I've always thought that the energy harvesting thing was a real thing because I've seen it actually done in football so many times with the Super Bowl, and it all makes sense. But for some reason with basketball, I never directly connected it, and that's probably because of my bias. Because obviously, I love the game of basketball, and
yeah,
you have that built-in bias where it's like, nah, they probably don't need to do that, but it doesn't. It just makes sense that that would be something that they take advantage of because normal people don't understand the power that comes from doing certain things like that. Like if you don't believe in magic and rituals and all that, you wouldn't understand like why that's even being done and is it possible to be done.
right.
So that was like the first thing, and then the Mamdani and the Trump, deciding to go to game 3. They could have gone to game 4,
Yeah,
right? They could have not gone to the game, but they decided specifically to go to game 3 right in the middle of what would arguably be probably one of the biggest Knicks win streaks in how long?
man, probably ever, honestly. Like, especially with like with the playoffs in general, like that, they were on like one of the longest win streaks in postseason history.
And not to mention, not so much in this series, but the series before, just the playoffs in general, they have been clapping teams by like
Yeah,
averages of like 12 to 20 points,
yeah,
just destroying these teams. And
yeah,
and if you watch these Knicks during the regular season, like you would understand how weird that is because this is not a
sure.
team that was delivering, 20-point defeats,
Right.
just just like every day. This was
Yeah.
not happening.
No. No, they were moving like, prime Tyson in the 80s. Like,
Right.
just knocking dudes out like first round KOs. Like it's crazy. Like you never associate that with the Knicks.
And it just so turns out that, like, okay, now they're putting these games together, they're punishing teams by like these huge margins or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. And then we go into game 3 where the Knicks are not a pick 'em, but right around -2 at home.
Yeah.
And were you, I know for I'm not gonna speak for myself, but I know what I was thinking. But were you on board or even a believer of the Knicks possibly sweeping the series?
Um honestly, I wasn't, but there was a slight possibility just because, had they did that, it would have been what, 15 in a row, right?
Would have been, yeah,
Yeah.
would have been 15
Yes.
in a row, yeah.
Yeah, so they would have swept 15 in a row. So that, the 15th prime number is 47, and that number is direct connected to Trump. He's
Yeah.
the 47th president. His name, in gematria equals to 47. So that was a possibility, but to me, it's like a sweep when your biggest market, New York, is in the finals. I just couldn't fathom that. I don't think they want to leave like money on the table like that, you know?
And that's where I was with it, because I wasn't one of those people who, you start watching TV or you start watching the internet, you start getting confused. You start seeing these things. Oh, the Knicks are just a way better team. They're ready now.
Yeah,
Sweet four. Bring out the brooms after 12. That was never something I thought was a possibility. I was largely against that because the
right.
NBA is such a business. You're coming off one of the least watched NBA finals last year with
Yeah,
OKC and the Indiana Pacers. That went to game 7 and people still didn't like that shit. They
yeah,
still hated it. You know what I mean? So coming into this, right? And I'm not sure exactly when it is coming up, but I do think there's a collective bargaining that will be coming up soon with the
hmm,
NBA. I just didn't think it made any sense at all for this to be a sweep. You have
yeah,
the biggest market, one of the biggest markets in the world, San Antonio, which isn't insane, but it also is a huge market.
yeah.
Um, you have the biggest international superstar right now in the NBA playing for the
Correct,
other team.
correct.
So it just, nothing about it said, you know what, I'm gonna take a sweep.
Yeah,
So RIP for all the sweep betters out there. It just
yeah.
wasn't gonna happen. I was
Nah,
always on board with that. So yeah, that was that was never gonna happen. Um Shout out to the NBA because you guys always prove me right when it comes to that shit.
yeah.
There's such a business that some of the things that happen, it's like you could even take gematria out of the window and
Yep,
just cook it up to, like, just from a money standpoint, this shit is just never gonna happen.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. 100%.
All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty now. We got on the phone. You brought some stuff to me. I brought some stuff to you. Um, but the all right. So do you want to start with what you were seeing? But we're gonna go piece by piece because I don't want to talk about it all in one little sentence.
Yeah,
But basically, you brought the convo to me and you were like, "Yo, is this where the series turns?
yeah,
Is this where we see one of the New York Yankees back in 2000 something when they folded to the Boston Red Sox in the ALCS
yeah.
for one of the first time a team has ever come back from a 3-0 series deficit to win the series. Is
Right.
this when we're gonna see one of those things? Why were you so adamant on that observation? Like, what was it exactly? Just like probably the first thing.
The first thing was it goes back to what you were saying about the energy, right? The
Yeah.
energy harvesting. So, and it always just it struck me like something always felt funny about the way the Knicks were just dominating, and it's like, okay, they have him on this big win streak, and everybody, especially in New York, they're on such an emotional high, right?
Mhm.
Everybody, the energy is just it's through the roof. Everybody's hype. So now you got them high. If you wanted both sides of the spectrum now, and you wanted to bring them all the way down, why not have them just collapse? You know what I mean? You go
It's the
from a
perfect time.
perfect time, right? In the biggest moment, that'll be the time to just boom, instant collapse, and then everybody that's on that high, they're now completely down. They're down in the dumps now. Everybody's upset, angry because of that. Like we were talking about that energy. They love that. They love to do that. The rug pull. They love it. These guys are sick. They love to do it.
And then also, that makes sense, right? Because not only do you have these insane Knicks fans. Now, the crazy thing is, if you're in New York now, here's a funny thing: you'll see people who have never supported any sporting team. They've
Yeah,
never given a shit about the Knicks. Everybody's a Knicks fan now. You
yeah,
got you got Knicks memorabilia flying off the shelves. You
yeah,
can't buy shit. You can't go in the store and buy a Knicks nothing. Everything's gone. You
yeah,
know what I mean? You got grandmas, grandpas, little kids, everybody. Knicks this, Knicks that, Knicks this, Knicks that. And I remember when shit was, when the team wasn't good, when shit was down.
yeah,
The Knicks were the laughing stock of the NBA for quite some time.
yeah. Remember when like just a few years back with the KD and Kyrie situation?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. They said never. It's not even a possibility.
Yeah, and they went to Brooklyn, like the little brother.
They
You
went to
know,
they went to our little bros. You know what I mean? And not to also financial aspect. Let's talk about it. Last night, minimum seat in the Garden,
oh
going
my
for like
god.
8 grand. Eight
That-
grand to get in. You don't even got a seat. You sit on a stool with the
yeah,
pigeons.
yeah.
8 grand.
8 grand, bro. I could not believe it.
You got somebody offering Spike Lee 500,000 for his seat last night.
Ridiculous, bro.
And shout out to Spike Lee because he's a true supporter.
Yeah.
And I also feel like he's the same way the Lakers got Jack Nicholson, and every team pretty much got their one fan that they identify with, kind of like their in real life in person mascot, but not really.
Hmm.
Spike Lee been holding it down for a while, so
For
I
sure.
wasn't surprised that he didn't sell his seat for
Yeah.
$500,000. But to me, I'm like, bro, that's one game. You could have just, you was gonna be there for game 4,
Yeah.
500,000. Put that in the
Yeah,
back.
bro.
You know,
Exactly.
that's the that's the fanaticism that comes with being a fan of these sports teams.
Yeah.
All logic goes out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I'm Spike Lee, I could have sold my seat. I could jump in somebody else's box that's in the
Yeah.
arena for nothing. I'm
Yeah.
Spike Lee.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. But yeah, so the energy harvesting, that's right there on the surface. Right there, that's like the first thing you look at. What I was looking at and what I kind of brought to the table was, I was like, because this makes perfect sense. Is Greg Popovich gonna be the Spurs sacrifice?
Yeah.
Like, is this something that, because we both spoke about it, this he's in poor health. He shouldn't even be walking around.
Yeah. He
He
looks
should
like
be
a vegetable, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks like a vegetable. He should be in hospice right now, getting 24-hour medical care from somebody. You know what I mean? The guy can hardly speak. He
Yeah.
doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't look tuned in. He doesn't look healthy. But they're trotting him around, right?
Hmm.
And he's still in the vicinity of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So is back to the energy harvesting thing. Is this what's keeping him alive right now temporarily,
Right.
to where they AKA rug pull that, and
Hmm.
then fast forward 12 days after the finals are done, or 12 weeks after the finals are done, or 78 days after the finals are done? Is
Yeah.
Greg Pop going to be one of these sacrifices that we say, you know another one bites the dust for a championship?
Right. It's
And
very
it makes
possible.
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. A
everything
lot of
that
sense.
everything so some of the stuff you brought to me, let's talk about it. Or matter of fact, why don't you say some of it, connecting for the Greg Pop situation, right?
Hmm.
His numbers. What was some of the things that jumped out to you in connection with the Spurs, and why they could potentially flip the series right now?
Okay. So all right, well, before that, let's just lay the floor down. So I obviously everybody knows this was a rematch of the '99 finals, right?
Yes, sir.
So what they did was the NBA or whoever was, penning these scripts, they did it in reverse. So in '99, the Spurs, they won the first two games, and then the Knicks won game three.
Mm,
This time around now in the rematch, they reversed it. The Knicks won the first two games, and then the Spurs won game three. So they're
mm.
doing it in reverse. So now the thing is, if they're following the pattern, right, that means the Knicks should win the next game, and then game five to close it out, like how it was in '99.
Okay.
And that it still could happen. Don't get me wrong, it still could happen. But here's what we were talking about now. What if the NBA decides to reverse it again and follow the script from '99? Because remember, in '99, we're at game four now. In '99, the Spurs, they won game four and game five to win the championship. What if they decide that now is the time to do it? And, the numbers that we were looking at and things like that, it kind of makes sense why it could happen.
So so the double reverse.
Yeah, like a
Basically.
double reverse.
So the double reverse. Okay. And all right, we'll speak on it. Let's speak about that. But again, um, this video isn't to say like, yo, there's a guarantee that there's 100%
Right.
Spurs are
Yeah.
gonna come back and win the series, or vice versa, that the Knicks are gonna win the series. What we're talking about is things that are jumping out to us for us
Yeah.
people who are paying attention to the landscape and the flow and
Right.
history, right? Because we all know certain aspects, history does repeat itself all the time.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
seen it in multiple different sports leagues, multiple different scenarios. History has a tendency to repeat itself. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not
No.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's why evaluating things as they happen is so important. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're not we don't like to be wrong and strong, right? We're not
Right.
too ego to be like, okay, well, maybe it's gonna change and pivot this way. So that's why we're talking about what we're talking about. Now, speaking about the '99 finals, so many correlations that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about other stuff that other people are bringing up because I feel like this happens every year regardless. People are going to bring up two things. You can bet on two things that are going to be brought up with any sports championship. It's going to be Kobe Bryant and it's going to be 9/11. These are the
Yeah.
main things that are spoken
Yeah.
tirelessly. Oh my god.
All the time.
And I feel like there's a bias with that too, because as long as you're looking to find a connection, you will be able to get one when it
Yeah.
comes to those two things. Anyway, so about the '99 final, I'm gonna walk through some of the shit I'm seeing with Greg Pop, and then we'll go to the next layer that you were talking about in correlation in connection with the other stuff that you saw.
Yeah.
So with Greg Pop, right? This is what first of all, he was the coach of that '99 finals team,
Yep.
hands down. He's currently right now, Greg Popovich is 77 years old. He's in his 78th year of life. Now, when we talk about 78, people know when it comes to numerology and numbers, gematria, New
Mm-hmm.
York 78, direct connection. It's strong. It's
Yeah.
been there all the time. It's something we look out for specifically. It's like New York in 33. Maybe
Yeah.
not as strong, but it's a very, very important number, right?
Yeah.
So boom. Going back to the 1999 NBA Finals, you brought this up to me. Now we're talking about the 77-78. Greg
Yeah.
Pop is 77 and he's in his 78th year of life.
Yeah.
The determining game in the 99 finals, game 5, the
Yeah.
Spurs won 78-77.
77. That's right.
Now, what are the chances of that?
Exactly. But what are the odds?
Not only that, but the Knicks, I'm going back now, I'm looking at it. The Knicks also scored 77 points in game 1 of that series, and they lost. I believe that was the game they lost. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to double check right now. They
Yeah.
lost game 1, 89-77.
77. Yeah.
So that was it. So it started off. The ritual started off with the Knicks in 77 back then.
Yeah.
And now we got the 77 and the 78 connecting once again here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, boom. Let's take it further now. 77, 78. We're gonna stay on that.
Yeah.
San Antonio right now for the season. How many wins are San Antonio Spurs on?
San Antonio they're on 75 wins right now.
75. Because all right, so they won one game.
Yeah.
So if they win the series, they're gonna finish with how many wins for the season?
78.
78. Okay,
Mhm.
78. Now 77 is not as an important number in championships as 57 or 131, but
Right.
championship does equal 77.
That's right.
That's a big number with the championships. So now we got the Spurs potentially winning could potentially win their 77th and their 78th win to win this series in New York, possibly,
Possibly.
or versus New York, which is a big 78,
Mhm.
if they turn the tables in this final run, right?
Yeah.
Going back now, some other history. We got Greg Pop. Everybody's his illness, his suffering is well documented right now. His only documented stroke happened on November 2nd, 2024. 57 date numerology.
Hmm.
That was his only stroke on record right now. That
Mhm.
2024. Okay.
Mhm.
Which is, you could look at it as a 26 year, right? 2024. It could be a 26 year if you want to break it down like that. Maybe not. But at the end of the day, 2024 is an 8 year.
Yes.
No arguing that. And 26 is an 8 year.
Yes.
Okay, boom. 57 now. Where do we love the number 57 in connection to what, Dre?
Oh, and championships.
He got a stroke on a 57 date numerology.
Yeah.
The Spurs was just in the NBA Cup. What's the NBA
Right.
Cup equal?
NBA Cup is 57, and that number is, if you know anything about the Cup, that number is like synonymous with it since its inception. And also NBA Finals is 57.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it. So we got and again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the potential Greg Pop sacrifice. Now, people are gonna say, they'll say, oh, you know what? Well, Greg Pop, obviously he's not healthy. So to say, oh, that he might die as a sacrifice to the Spurs if they come back and win, it's not a stretch, right? You're not curing cancer with that. But
Right.
I mean, I don't really hear nobody else talking about it though. Everybody else is so much on the New York Knicks that they're not even really paying attention to the stuff that's going on with the Spurs, right?
Right.
And to me that makes all the sense in the world. But when you start taking a deeper dive, this other stuff I came across after we got off the phone, you got Erin Popovich, who's Greg's wife. Remember I said his wife died?
Yes, that's
She
right.
died at the age of 67 years old, okay,
Mm.
in 2018.
Mm.
So you got the Knicks 67, 19
Yeah.
prime. You got the San Antonio Spurs equals 190 like 19, 67
Yes.
to 19 prime. All right. She died on the 18th day of the month
Yeah.
in 2018. Now, what's the Spurs record if they win this finals? What's their record in the finals, Dre?
Their record in the finals,
As far as like the championships they've won and they lost, what's their record right now?
oh, that's right. Right now the Spurs are 5-1.
So if they win, it's
6-1.
61 is what?
The 18th prime number.
18 prime number. So now we're going back to the 18.
Yes.
He died on the 18th in 2018. The Spurs possibly be 6-1, like 61 to 18 prime.
Right.
You go from April 18th for this year to June. Let's just pick one date because it doesn't. Let's just pick. Let's just say June 16th, for example. It ends June 16th.
Yeah.
Possibly the finals. That's a span of 59 days.
Mm.
Sacrifice equals 170 like 17, 59 to 17 prime.
Right.
17 also has numerology at 8. What year is this, Jay?
This is an 8-year.
It's an 8-year.
This is an 8-year.
Are we starting to put the pieces together for the possible flip?
Yeah.
Now, there's more stuff.
Mm-hmm. A lot more.
So why don't you put me on? What was you saying? And again, we're not saying this is automatic, but this is stuff that can't be ignored. You can't ignore the fact of how big. Let's just talk. First of all, Greg Pop is not big in the NBA. He's big in the world.
Yeah.
When it comes to basketball, right?
Yeah.
Former coach of USA basketball, a well-respected Hall of Fame coach that is loved. He's beloved by everybody.
Yep.
Okay, you got LeBron, D Wade, Kobe Bryant. All these guys would, they see Greg Pop in the street, they stop and say what up to Greg Pop. That's how Hall of Fame he is. So
Yeah.
this ain't no regular coach. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a legend right here.
A legend, Hall of Fame, definitely first ballot. Now, what did you see? What did you bring to my attention? Because I didn't even notice. What did you bring to my attention in connection with the with Avery Johnson?
Yes.
With that?
So if Avery Johnson, like if you go back to the 99 finals, he's the one that hit the game-winning shot to give the Spurs their first championship. So
He did that.
he did that. He made a significant bucket. Now, going back to the 61 thing that we were talking about and possibility that the Spurs, if they win the finals, they'll be 6-1. Avery Johnson right now is 61 years old.
Oh, he just happened to be 61 now.
Yeah, he just happens to be 61 right now.
Whatever. Okay.
So, so yeah. Now bringing it, a little further, and this is why this game 4 is critical, bro. Because if the Spurs does happen to win game 4, that game 5 is like, and again, if they are gonna go back to the original script and following from 99, now game 5, remember the Spurs would have 76 wins heading into game 5.
Yes.
So now remember, if they win game 5, they'll have 77 wins. Now remember, in game 5 of the 99 finals, the Knicks, when they played the Spurs, they scored 77. So peep that. You know what I mean? And now here's where the extension comes with.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait, so they scored 77 in that game where Avery Johnson hit the game winner
Yeah,
to
the Knicks.
78-77, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And game 5 in this series would be where?
In San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So should they do that now? And here's where the game 6 now comes into play as far as continuing on from 99. So they'll have 77 wins if they win game 5 to go up 3-2 heading back to game 6. Now, if they close it out in game 6, they would pick up their 78th win in New York in game 6. And here's the crazy thing now with Avery Johnson. So Avery Johnson, he hit the game winner in 99 to give them the Spurs 78 points. Remember, the score was 78-77. And funny enough, Avery Johnson, when he was on the Spurs, his jersey number was 6.
Wow. Wow.
It's
So they can really be paying homage to the 99 finals in multiple ways.
In multiple ways, yes. In multiple ways. That's why, I was saying, what if they decide now to follow the original script from 99 instead of how they've been doing it in reverse? That's what I'm saying. You never know.
Yeah. So okay. So I mean, great observation also with Avery Johnson. Because first of all, when you think about the Spurs, that's not even a player that would necessarily even come across your desk.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Obviously you got the Twin Towers, you got Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili,
right.
Tony Parker, all these much more prevalent San Antonio Spurs, and Avery Johnson. If you didn't know, like I didn't even know he hit the game winner.
Yeah.
So you put me onto that, and now you're talking about connecting not only like his age with that game, with the score, with potential picking up wins that correlate directly to the score from a rematch of the 99 finals, which was because when we speak about even the energy harvesting thing or just things happening in general, it's rituals that are being played out, right?
Yeah.
The biggest number that connects with a ritual is normally which number? I know what it is, but you tell me what number connects the most with ritual?
Ritual, that would be with 27.
27. How many years ago was that?
The finals is 27 years ago.
Really? Damn. So this shit, oh man, it gotta be a coincidence then, right, Drake? There's this. I mean, even the fact that we're talking about it, like, there's no way they could be doing that. It can't be
Yeah.
real, right?
And to take it a step further now, another number with ritual is 81. Now remember in 99, the finals, the Knicks were the 8th seed, the Spurs were the 1 seed.
Mm.
You got that 8-1 right there. So you got the 8 versus 1 27 years ago. Ritual numbers.
And the inversion of that is 18, connecting right back to the 61.
Correct.
That's everywhere right now. See, the thing, and this is why I wanted to do this video, because when you see good stuff that's going on the internet right now, obviously people who pay attention to gematria or numerology, they're connecting the games, whatever storyline they believe, whatever puzzle pieces they find, to
Yeah.
specific numbers. Let's 57, 53, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
right? But if it's an actual ritual, there should always be a 27. There has to, and it cannot be a non-important 27. It would have to connect hugely to the
Yeah.
number 27 for it to be a true ritual. There has to be a connection to that number 27. At least I believe. That's what I believe.
Yeah. It's true.
And the only connection people are making with the 27 is 27 years ago at the 99 finals.
Yeah.
But then people aren't really making that connection, because if you pay attention to the 99 finals, then you would have to admit that the Spurs have potential to come back and win the series. Nobody wants to believe that. Everybody's got their blinders closed just because the Knicks are up 2-1. They're
Yeah.
saying it's a foregone conclusion that the Knicks are going to win. So really, there is no 27 if you want to believe that.
Right.
But we finding shit, though. We finding 61s, we finding 57s, we finding 77s, 78s, 27s, right? 18s.
Yeah.
All of these different numbers that connect to a couple of different people, very, very important, prevalent people,
Yeah.
and a very, very important event in history that connects directly to what's going on right now in the NBA.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear no shit about, whatever. We the first ones talking about this stuff. Nobody talking about this right now. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, no.
It is what it is. Nobody connecting Avery Johnson to this NBA Finals. If you try to jack that, you a clown. Nobody's jacking that. Nobody's talking
Yeah.
about Avery Johnson. Shout out to my boy Drake, because he the first nigga that's on Avery Johnson. I don't care what anybody say. And ain't nobody connecting Aaron Popovich to this shit like I did. Ain't nobody connect. Even people forgot about Greg Pop because they don't see him on the sidelines.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Nobody talking about him, but he's
No.
there at every game. He's there.
He's there, yeah.
You got Wemby saying in a press conference after they defeated OKC. He said the first thing he want to do is go see Greg Pop. You got to talk to him. He got to have a conversation with him. He got to see him.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is Greg Pop so important? The nigga can't talk.
Yeah. And that's the only thing. Yeah, and that's probably, I don't think he's telling the truth there, because like you said, that I don't think he could talk, bro. So whatever they're saying he said, that's just probably some made up shit.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
I believe the reason he's still here, up and running and still moving and breathing, is for what's going on right now. Now, we've seen sacrifices happen with a team winning the chip or just getting to the chip. So and he don't have to die for them to win it or lose it. But the way I'm looking at it, because they got here, getting here is enough for a nigga to be sacrificed. We've seen that before.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like a team might be historically bullshit, like historically bad, and just them getting to the playoffs, they would have to knock somebody off, sacrifice just to get to the playoffs.
Yep.
So Greg Pop can still be getting up out of here, even though the Spurs don't win. But the reason why I'm saying it all makes sense is the numbers that are connecting to 77 to 78. You know what I mean? And how important he is to the game of basketball. Let's not be fooled. When Greg Pop goes, the sports world will stand still, like how it did. Not to the level of Kobe Bryant, but it will stand still for a little while.
Yeah, that's a significant depth right there in the sports.
Okay, yeah. So and the energy that's going to be coming out of that is going to be pure sadness, right? So you talk about going from high to low, right? The Spurs could be going right now from low to high.
Yeah.
In the chip to then Greg Pop dies, they come back to the low.
Yeah.
As above, so below, the inversion, the yin, the yang. That shit make. If I'm looking at it like that, it's something you got to pay attention. You can't ignore that.
No, you can't. You can't ignore it at all.
So, that's why I was adamant about it. I'm like, no, we got to get online and talk about it, because if not, people here's what happens. People, teams win a championship. You got people that run to the internet that say, "Oh yeah, I was the first one to predict this. We got it right again for the 37th year in a row. I've gotten 37 NBA finals correct exactly with the final score, and this is what it always happens. We call them after
Yeah.
the fact jacks. That's what they do.
Yeah.
After the fact jack. They connect everything after the fact.
Right.
But that's why it's important to talk about it now because ain't nobody saying that the Spurs are coming back. Nobody
Right.
want to say that because you know why?
No.
You gotta put your ass on the line to say that.
Yeah.
You got to take a leap of faith,
Right.
right? You got to act on. You got to have the confidence in your work and your knowledge to put it out. To even put it out here, how we saying it right now. A lot of people can't do that because they don't want to be seen as potentially being wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not why we here though. We here to get the shit right. We here to get better. We here to make improvements every time.
Mm-hmm.
If not, you standing still, you're gonna continue to be confused by these bums, and then it's never gonna get to the level where we need to get it to be turning people from average citizens into sports millionaires. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Sports 100,000ers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what the goal is. So we got the Greg Pop, we got the Avery Johnson, we got the Aaron Popovich, we got the Now, what would you say to the theories that are going on with the 9/11? Like the Knicks haven't been in the finals since 9/11. You got them going against the former Twin Towers, Tim Duncan and David Robinson,
Yeah.
right? You got Brunson wearing a specific number. His dad used to wear the number 11 or
Yeah. The
whatever.
9/11.
9/11
Right.
reverse. Obviously, New York being the 11. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's definitely something that's there, but then again, it's like, okay, where exactly does it connect to them winning the championship this year? That's what I'm not seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't see where the connection is with 9/11 to them winning the championship. That I don't see. So it's like, okay, sure, yeah, the 9/11 stuff is there, yes, but in the heart of it, like the nitty gritty, where like I don't see the connection. So that's why I never like really considered it as far as them winning. I don't think that's like the main reason why the Knicks would potentially win the championship. I don't think that's one of them.
And here's what I'll say about the so and again, we're not proclaiming the Spurs to win the championship. Here's what
Right.
I'll say. Obviously, the Knicks do have a significant 57 that's on the board. Whereas, okay, this is the 57th season, or you could say they're in the 57th year since they've won their first NBA championship in 1970. All right,
Right.
that's the 57 the Knicks do have
Yeah.
on their side to potentially win the series.
Yeah.
Now, is it the strongest connection we've seen to championships or so? No, it's not.
No.
It's there,
Yeah.
right? There's a reason that makes sense why the Knicks can win. But I'm on Dre's side with this. Is there's so much of a reason that is so overwhelming, you can't even contemplate the Spurs coming back and potentially stealing this series? No, there's nothing that's saying that is an impossibility. Now,
Right.
obviously we've had previous years where in other sports where like teams have looked like automatics when it comes to championships and then they just don't happen to win it. But that falls back on the numbers could be so overwhelming that their numbers were only meant to get them to the championship. It didn't mean they were going to win it, but they were going to get there,
Right.
right? So we weren't wrong. We were correct, and that's why with gematria, it's not, you cannot just have gematria and be an incredible bettor. You have to understand betting overall. You have to
Yeah.
have experience in betting. You have
Yep.
to know how to protect yourself strategically with bets and
Yes.
not just. And again, I ain't even gonna give out the free gems, but trust me, if you just bank it on gematria, like you leaving a lot of bread on the table. You leaving so much
Yeah.
on the table, like you don't even know.
Yeah. You,
You
you
know what I mean?
gotta know how to like just interpret lines like that. That plays a big part in it too. You gotta know how to see things that like, that make you go, does that make sense or not? Yada yada yada. You gotta know how to like beyond gematria, it's true. You just got to know how to look for certain things that you could probably take advantage of. It just looks, it don't look right, because usually, like, most of the times when something don't look right, that's the one you should probably take a deeper look at it, and probably, you could probably be successful with
It's a
that
reason,
particular
right?
game.
It's a
Yeah,
reason why that's
reason.
happening.
Yeah,
And that's what people don't understand either. People wake up and they think, you know what, I learned a couple of this numerology thing, I learned a couple of this gematria stuff. I could I could be a millionaire overnight. Matter of fact, I could start my own platform and just start selling shit. It don't happen like that. Trust me.
no,
When I go into the levels of experience and intelligence you have to have when it comes to making these bets, protecting yourself with strategic bets, knowing how much to bet, knowing
yeah,
knowing how to take your money off of the table with an early cash out.
yeah.
All these, there's so many levels to
So
this
many
shit.
things.
Like
Yeah,
the conversation about that alone is over. Like people, when I start having that conversation, people just get tuned out because it's so much.
yeah,
Never one thing that, especially if you're not a Freemason, you're not even in that shit to
exactly.
understand, that level of numerology. You know what I mean? So anyway, we're gonna stay out. That's a whole nother convo. Free
Yeah,
game I'm giving out, we giving out or whatever. But this specifically, when it comes to what's going on with the NBA finals, obviously game 4 is extremely important, right?
yeah,
So we've seen the line already drop for game 4. The Knicks are almost a pick 'em. They're -1.5 for game 4. The game's gonna be obviously in Madison Square Garden still.
yeah.
Uh Now, without giving out a pick or whatever, what can you possibly see um, happening in that game? Like, how important is that game to determining the rest of the series for you?
Okay. So yeah, how I see it is, like I was telling you earlier, that the next game, game 4, to me, that is like the actual championship game, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, like whoever wins that game is gonna, win the series to me. And here's the thing, that one thing that I didn't mention. So the Spurs right now, right? They're on 28 losses for the season, including playoffs.
Okay.
So now this is a rematch, from 1999.
Yep.
Now, 1999, like, when you add up those numbers, it equals to 28.
Mm-hmm.
1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, that equals, it breaks down to 28. And they're on 28 losses right now.
Yep.
If you go to ESPN, and ESPN, they, you can find some hints and clues from them as well. They like to do it a lot. If you go to the preview for game 4, and you know
Mm-hmm.
how they got all those video preview things?
Yep.
Right now, there's a one with, what's the guy's name? The analyst Greenberg? Is this Mike Greenberg that's on
Yeah. Yeah.
ESPN? So there's a picture of him, and he said, game 4 is gonna decide the series. That's not what's important. What's important is the length of that video. The video is 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
Oh my god.
Like, well, Gematria Zero has no value, so that could be seen as 28. How
Yeah.
funny is that?
And we all know, like in numerology, 28 is an important number because it's also known as a perfect number.
That's right.
And you know what I mean? It is the first perfect number. So it's very, very important in numerology. It's important in Freemasonry. And it also we be paying homage once again to 1999.
Yeah,
99 finals, right?
yeah,
Now, there's people out there that are saying, because when we go back to history, and again, I agree with you what you're saying on game 4. I feel like it is probably the most pivotal game in the series. Um, there are people that are saying if history does repeat itself, it depends how you look at it, because the 99 finals, yeah, history repeating itself would mean that the Spurs could come back and win. But what about the NBA Cup history? They just played the Knicks in a championship and they
that's
lost.
right. That's right.
So, like, what history would be repeat itself? Would it be the 99 history or would it be the NBA Cup history?
Yeah, yeah,
And it does add a layer of confusion and difficulty in this, which goes back to what we've been saying since they implemented this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That was implemented specifically to throw a curveball to people that are understanding how to dissect these games
Yeah.
and use numerology to take advantage of these games.
Yep.
That was done on purpose.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that, 100%. That was for people like us who decode and bet on the games. That's definitely what it was about. There's no other reason.
Yeah, it's again, these are two teams we didn't want to see in the finals because
Yeah,
we both understood. We were like, this is going to be a pain in the ass if this ends up happening.
yeah,
And it just so happens not only did they meet in the NBA Cup, which was annoying for us
yeah,
because you had one team, I had the other. So whichever one of our teams made it, we were just going to be great. We were going to be so much better off because we were going to back that team 100%. And
yeah,
then we end up playing each other with our teams, right? And it happens again in these finals. So it's just funny and ironic the way it works out. But again, when you do the work and you pay attention and you have your own independent opinion and you're correct, sometimes it won't be as beneficial as as you wanted it to be,
yeah.
because obviously it always takes two teams to get there. So this is just one of those situations where, I wish we could have profited so much more if only one of our teams made it. You know what I mean? But
Right.
hey, we were both correct. You know what I mean? So it's like, and things change also because I remember at the beginning of this season, like the team I loved from the East was Cleveland.
Yeah,
That was my team before the season started. That was my team that I liked coming out of the East. Now they made it to the semifinal, the semifinals or whatever. I'm bugging the conference
conference
finals.
finals.
They
Yeah,
made it to the conference finals. But if you were paying attention earlier season, people were laughing when I said Cleveland. They were like, "What, bro? Get the fuck out of here!" Like Cleveland ain't doing. And then obviously as things change, you got trades that happen. You
yeah,
got dates and games that you specifically pay attention to. So things are always going to change. The reason I love to make a preseason like prediction is because of the odds. We take advantage of no games being played
yeah,
and the great ROI situations. These aren't bets that are made to put your house on. These are bets that it's small risk, insane reward,
yes,
and obviously over time, over the season, things can change. But I'm
yeah,
not one of those people, and I know you're not either, that bunny hops from team to team. Like every other week it's picking like 14 teams to make it to the finals. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, no.
We like to stick to one team, maybe two at the most.
Yeah,
Um, and that's really and we live with our decision. If it's wrong, it's wrong. We get better and learn for the next year. And
that's
if
right.
we're right, we love it and we live with it, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
But not everybody lives like that. Not everybody practices that. People love to do they shuffle and run and bullshit and pivot to another team or pretend like they had that team for 7 months when they really didn't. And
yeah,
we all know the games. We see these people all the time, or whatever the case may be. So it is what it is. But what will be interesting, and again, I'm gonna ask you maybe to come back on again in the future. If this ball starts rolling,
hmm,
you know what I mean, and it starts rolling in that direction, we're gonna have to get you back on, to talk about this stuff,
yeah,
because
yeah,
this will be an insane call right now, down 2-1 in the NBA Finals, and Spurs on the road
yeah,
to come back and win these games, and potentially win the chip. And right now, the Spurs, right now, 2-1 to come back and win the series. If
yeah,
you get them in a specific game, it's anywhere from 5-1 to 10x.
yeah,
If you can pick the game that it ends in, or the way it ends, like 4-2, 4-3, whatever the case may be.
yeah.
Same thing with the Knicks. Um, all right, let's do this before we end it. I'll tell you because the reverse perspective, it's interesting, but I do still see a couple things for the Knicks though. I have to say that just to keep this video kind of 50-50 or PG or whatever the case may be. I
Yeah,
do see a scenario where the Knicks can win out, and that would be only a single reverse of what happened in the 99 finals,
yeah,
not the double reverse.
right.
And then obviously 41 being the main number that connects both of these teams, right?
Yeah,
San
yeah,
Antonio 41, Knicks 41. Obviously the possible 4-1 outcome if they take it. But the reason why, and that's still a possibility. The reason why I'm kind of leaning towards more games being played than 5 is because of the anniversary of the
Yeah,
90 finals.
yeah.
So so the anniversary, what was the exact date of game 1 of the 99 finals, if you remember?
It was June 16th,
June 16th, and that would be
game
game
6 this
game
year.
6.
Yeah. So so think about that now. So before the final started, they were all everybody, ESPN, everybody they were promoting it as 27 years later, when in actuality it wasn't.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So that
So
was probably
why isn't it 27 years later then? I know it, but I just want you to walk it down or whatever.
you said, why isn't it 27 years later?
Why isn't it not yet 27?
Oh, because we're not at June 16th yet.
Oh, okay. So you saying June 16th makes it 27?
Yeah, that
Because that
makes it
was the
27.
anniversary of game 1, and that would be game 6.
That would be game 6. Yeah.
Wow. So that would be the actual full
That-
ritual 27.
yeah, exactly. So it's not right now. It's still technically it's still 26 years. 26
Mm.
years and whatever amount of days. But June 16th, that is the actual anniversary of the finals from '99, the start.
And that's the anniversary of the Spurs winning the 99 finals versus these same New York
Correct.
Knicks. Okay. So you're loving the June 16th date, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm loving that, and for that, I would say either way, because before this series was underway, I was saying 6 games regardless, either Knicks in 6 or Spurs in 6.
Yep,
You
you
know,
did say that. You
yeah,
did say
just because of it was because of that, and then you already know, like with majority of these championships, they love to pay tribute to Satan.
that. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a satanic ritual. This being the 80th season, that's a Satan number.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's a 4-2 series, I say in the Bible, what the beast reigns for 42 months.
The number 42 does come up in reference to Satan, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, like you got the 42 there. So and then also the date, like 616. That's another number for the number of beasts. That's like the alternate number is 616 and 666.
Yep.
So that's the alternate, number of the beast. So I feel like the 80th season, June 16th, 616. That's game 6. That's how I see it. You know.
And then you also with that same number, didn't you like make a connection with Avery Johnson as well with that number?
That's right. So Avery Johnson, his name in gematria equals 166, like the date of game 6, June
June
16th.
16th.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
16
right.
dash 16 dash 6.
Yeah, that's right. Facts. 100%. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's crazy. That's
that
crazy. All
yeah,
these connections. I mean, listen, we spoke before the finals, and usually before any championship or anything like that, we'll always have a conversation and stuff and talk about it. And I remember specifically you saying you loved 6 games, and
yeah,
I partially agreed with you, but I kind of favored more 5. I
yeah,
was leaning more 5 games or whatever for my reasons. But I did understand the 6 games, and now more than anything, the 6 games does seem accurate. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it could only be like, yeah, it could be 5, it could be 6, or it could be 7. But with the way things are playing out, obviously it's only been 3 games.
yeah.
But it's hard to ignore the possibility of it ending in 6 games, is what I'm saying.
Right.
With everything aligning with the strength of that number in
Hmm.
connection to the to the ritualism in general, and we all know who they pay rituals to. It ain't the guy Jesus. You know what I mean?
No, no,
It
no.
ain't that guy.
It's the
So
unicorns.
yeah. So it's that would be the ultimate mockery for them to do that once again. And it would be right in everybody's face, and nobody would be paying attention, and nobody would have been knowing or
Yeah,
well informed about what that is.
and the perfect location too, because in New York, in Sumerian gematria is 666.
Come on. Belly of the beast, boy.
Belly of the beast. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. That's
In
crazy.
the garden. You know?
Garden of Eden, aka, right?
You know?
You got the snake coming and just biting the New York Knicks ass.
Yeah. The big apple.
Exact, right? Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Look at that. You got the Garden of Eden, the Big Apple. Like, come on, man. It's so much stuff going on. But people gonna be, they're gonna chalk it up to like, nah, these guys they thinking too hard. They're over
Yeah.
analyzing. You know what I'm saying?
It's a coincidence.
Yeah. Like this should just happen, by accident. 27 years later, and the same two teams meet up, and they could possibly end the same date that the game one started 27 years ago. Yeah, that's all by accident, of course, right? Yeah. It matters, whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, look, I want to say shout out to you. I appreciate you for coming on. I don't want to keep you too long because we already have been on an hour, whatever the case may be. But listen, this is a collaborative video for me and my boy. I've been he's been on a couple of times previously, and like I said, he was one of the people who years and years ago I shared this knowledge with. Just putting it out there because at the time I was sharing it with everybody, and if anybody wanted to kind of embrace it, it was on them. You know what I'm saying? And I had a lot of people who kind of shunned it and didn't pay it no mind, and he was one of the open-minded people to take it in and kind of apply it and start paying attention or whatever. And that was years and years ago, and we got so many things, so many memories that have already happened that we can kind of talk about and be like, yo, like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. So, I always like to bring him on, always like to, conversate with him and stuff like that. Shout out to him. Always appreciate his additional perspective on these things. And listen, if the Spurs is here, game 4, we're going to come back. We're going to make another video. But remember where you heard it first. We're here bringing you this perspective, this observation for you to just pay attention to. That's it.
And that's what it is. It's just an observation. That's not a prediction. It's an observation.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And again, we'll be paying attention. We're gonna be tuned in. We're gonna be on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? But there's so much as well going on. Like we got the NHL finals going on right now. I got a live pick right now from before the season started. Right now, that's still in the finals that could possibly win this shit. I'm paying attention right now. We got UFC 250 coming up in front of the White House. And I don't know about you, but I've been clapping UFC for going like 6 months now, 6-7 months. I've been clapping UFC.
Yeah, you have. You sure have.
So listen, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. A whole bunch of sport events, whole bunch of championships, whole bunch of things to take advantage of. Shout out to the community. I appreciate your guys' support. Send your love and appreciation to Dre as well for hopping on and tuning in and bringing these observations and the things he's seeing to the forefront, because you never know who's going to watch this video, but there's potential to make some money. And that's all we're here for, is wake people up, and to get some residual income, some stuff that the IRS can't pay attention to, or put some money back in your pocket. It's tough times now, man.
Very tough.
Everybody going through something. Money is meaning less and less. You making less and less. Things are costing more than ever. Gas is at $5. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. We're gonna be locked in. We're gonna be tuned in. I'm gonna hit you up, and we're gonna see what happens with game 4.
Yeah, we'll see. That's to me. That's the pivotal game to me. That's the big game.
Facts. That's a big game. So we're gonna be back. Remember, like, share, subscribe the video, repost it, share it, tell people about it, wake people up, send them this video so they can be tuned in. And yeah, I appreciate you guys once again. Mr. Futures in the building. Bets by Dre right there, and we're gonna see you on the next one. Peace and love as always. Salute.
Yeah, peace.